feel like time is just racing by you? Or maybe you look at your calendar or your date book and it's full, but it doesn't quite seem to tell the whole story of your life? Or maybe you're feeling like, gosh, like, where's the time going? It's at least here in North America, in Eastern Washington State, where I am, we're in the middle of spring and I just can't even believe it. And so I'm going to talk a little bit today about two kinds of time and how, in a nature oriented way to building a life, we can look at time a little bit differently. And I come from a forest bathing background, and an eco spiritual background is my training. And I also used to be a professor, so I know quite a bit about how other cultures and points in history people tracked time. And so the thing I'm going to kind of explain is a little practice you can do that can complement datebook world. Doesn't mean you have to throw all that out. I certainly still use my datebook, but it's to complement it and to let us have many practices for really honoring rich presence and what I call tiny treasures or tiny moments in a life. And we're going to be doing that practice with a more cyclical way of tracking time. So before I kind of show how that little practice works in that drawing, I'm going to mention these two kinds of time. One is called kronos time or linear time, right? There's a start, there's a middle, it goes forward to an end. Most societies, their dominant mode of time tracking is linear, right? You could think of it, it's like the date book world, the appointment world, the clock world. Then there's a second kind of time called Kairos time, and that has to do with present moment time, almost bracketed out from linear time or suspended, right? And so you can just sort of remember for yourself, when is a time where you felt that like full presence, where you were just like in the moment? They typically are fleeting, but everything just feels so saturated with life, right? It might be beholding a beautiful spring blossom. It might be in a moment with a pet. It might be in a moment with a child. Whatever it is, Kairos moments are when that feeling of pure presence is there, even if it's just for a few seconds. And that is a different kind of time experience. And a full life, right, is going to have both of those, right? For most of us who do live in society in some kind of way, we know a lot about linear time. It's expected of us to work within linear time. And so the practice I'm going to show you today is how to complement that with Kairos rich time and a way of really giving it its due and its space and its recognition in a life. Because oftentimes it is undervalued in most mainstream society. So you can do this in different ways. I have a mini practice that you can experiment with where you draw a circle on a piece of paper. And don't feel like you have to be an artist to do this. I happen to use colors to denote seasons, but it can really just be pen and pencil and a scrap sheet of paper. And you can do this for a week of your life, um, a moon cycle, a seasonal cycle, a year. And I often do seasons. So I think this one I did from autumn equinox to autumn equinox, kind of like that. We're coming up on Beltane, so probably around May 1st, I'll draw a circle and have it be representing um, spring equinox to summer solstice, right? And then we keep it playful and curious and creative. And on that circle, you can jot down, well, of course, whatever you want to jot down. But we put things that are maybe milestones, but here's where it gets really special. Not so much milestones that the rest of society tells us to value. We're going to jot down all the tiny treasures of moments that might have really rich meaning for us that maybe no one else even saw or cared about. And something really cool happens when you start to make a little visual record of these tiny moments of presence in a life. It gives them a place in the world. It lets you recognize their significance. You start to see how they accumulate and how they don't replace everything, but how they also have to have a celebrated place in the whole spectrum of living. Typically in mainstream society, those moments aren't recognized and celebrated. And so this is a chance to really give them their due. Okay. And you can also have it be, if you want, little tiny moments of you out in nature that you noticed. Maybe the first time you saw a spring blossom, or snow, or seasonal rain, or whatever it might be. Maybe a creature that came to say hello. And on the circle, just in a gentle, curious way, we note those things. You can do it retrospectively. You can do half and half, like I'll be kind of noting little recognitions from spring equinox into Beltane. And then I'm going to have it near my desk so I can make little notes as I go into the rest of the season towards summer solstice. And we keep it light and playful. And it's a really wonderful way to kind of be able to have something that sits alongside your date book that is honoring Kairos time, the richness and the significance of the present moment. It's free to do, it's pretty simple, and if you just try it for a couple seasons, I think you're going to find something really cool happens where when we really let ourselves saturate in those moments of tiny presence, time starts to feel more spacious. We don't feel like we missed things. We don't feel like the lives of beloveds just kind of rushed by us. We start to notice, oh yeah, I let myself have those moments of tiny presence that were so big and rich. And it just starts to shift so that time feels less like it's totally out of your hands. It is in your hands. We just have to create some ways of enjoying it. Try it. Let me know how it goes. Bye.